Welcome to the Forge. Today we're going to be doing what I think is the best beginner blacksmithing project. We're going to be making a utility hook. We're going to get started by putting a taper on the end of this 3/8 inch round stock. Remember to turn 90 degrees with each blow. You can only taper as a square. Then once we've got that taper down to a nice angle at the tip, we're going to blend that back into the rest of the stock. Now that the material is tapered the way we want, we need to go back and round it out. We don't want to have a square taper at the end of our round stock. It just doesn't look good. So we're going to start by knocking down the corners. We're going to take it from 4 sides to 8 sides, and eventually we're just going to round it all the way out, and it'll blend back into the original stock seamlessly. Now we want to take that tapered end right to the edge of the anvil. Hang about 3/8 of an inch over the edge of the anvil and hammer down at 90 degrees. Then flip it back over and hammer towards yourself. This is going to cause it to curl in on itself, so you get a nice little curly cue. This is going to end up being the end of the hook. This way it's aesthetically pleasing and it's not sharp, so it won't snag on things. Now we're going to put the curve into this hook. But first, you have to quench the curlicue you just made so that you can hammer on it without destroying it. Once you've got that done, bring it back over to the horn and work over the horn till you get a curve that you're happy with. Take as much time as you need in this phase to get the shape and size that you want for the hook. With the curve of the hook now defined, we have a better sense of the proportion of the hook that we're creating. There's a good chance, like me, you took too much stock to start with, or maybe you're just working with a long bar, but now's the time where we have to cut it down to the right size. I'm going to be using a hot cut, but you could just as easily do this with a hacksaw or a chop saw. Once the material is cut down to size, there's a good chance you're going to have a burr left at the end. You can fix this up with a file or a grinder, or like me, you can just hammer it back into the stock at the anvil. Now it's time to work on mounting. We're going to be hammering half on, half off the anvil. This is the half face blow, and it's going to set a shoulder which will create a mounting face that we can use to screw this hook into the wall. Don't worry about moving a lot of metal. What we're looking to do is set a clean, sharp shoulder. Once we have that shoulder established, we can always come back to the anvil and push right into it so we're in the same spot and continue working on flattening out the mounting face. Don't worry if the back of the hook gets bent while you're setting the shoulder. Once it gets down to a lower heat, just flip it over and be very gentle to hammer that out. It'll straighten up pretty quick. At this point, it's up to you how pretty you want this hook to be. The mounting face usually doesn't come out even when you're hammering it off of the edge of the anvil, so this is your opportunity to kind of clean that up, even out those shoulders, and make that mounting plate look as nice as you want it to. If this is just going up in a garage to hold a shovel, you probably don't care, but if this is going to be a coat rack or a key rack or something like that, you probably want to take the time here to even things out and make sure it looks good. Now it's time to punch 2 holes in that mounting face we just created. All you need to do is grab a hole punch so we can do some quick layout. Wait, where's my hole? What? Right. I gotta find my hole punch. It's gotta be around here somewhere. Well, just hold on a second. No, it's not in the back? Ugh. Maybe I left it in the cage? No, I don't see it. One of the guys put it up in the rack. He probably just got tossed in with the rest of the loose tools. No. Well... Well, we don't have time to make a hole punch right now, so we're just going to have to go with the next logical option. Now, I'm not going to stand here and insult your intelligence. I'm sure if you're watching this video, you're already well versed in advanced theoretical particle physics. So I'm going to just skate right over how we're going to harness tachyon burst emission to create a temporal anomaly to teleport a hole punch back in time so that we can use it now, and future me will have to create it later. Simple, really. We'll start with a good pinch of 4140 metal chips. This is the steel that future me is going to make the punch out of. Next, we'll add a wristwatch. Well, for the time element, obviously. Then the power source, the crystallized heart of a collapsed sun. Finally, the secret ingredient, the real magic that makes this go. It's a positive comment from a subscriber on YouTube. Thanks. Now shake. Oh, that's looking good. Yeah, this is coming together. And here's the punch. Would have been nice if future me had cleaned this up a bit. It doesn't work. Now with that tiny bit of time travel out of the way, we can get back to punching holes in our hook. You can skip this step if you want to, but I prefer to lay out my holes before I do my punching. I can take my time at this lower heat to make sure that my holes are going to be nice and centered, and then all I need to do is a soft tap to put an indent into the material. This way, next heat when I come back to the anvil, it'll be very easy to find where I want to put my holes, line up the hole punch, and punch right through. Finally, we get to punch some holes. Take your time to line up your punch and give it a good heavy blow. It should only take 2 or 3 heavy blows to get through this thin a material. Once you feel the rebound on your strike, you'll know you've bottomed out. That's when you flip over the material, find that black bullseye. That's the cold part that's been in contact with the anvil. Line up your punch right on top of that and punch out a plug. The colder or lower temperatures are actually working to your advantage. That makes the steel more brittle, so the plug's more likely to shear out. Once you've done this with one hole, just go ahead and knock out the plug in the second one. If you're quick, you can get these both done in the same heat. If your punch gets stuck in the hole and doesn't want to come out, just flip it over the hardy hole and give it a little tap. That should release it. Now that both holes are punched, we want to get this cleaned up as much as possible. The next step is going to be putting a hot wax finish using the last of the heat that's in the metal to melt on the wax to give it that black ironworked look. Oh, and a word of warning. If the wax is exploding into a huge white cloud and none of it seems to be sticking to the metal's too hot. Just give it a minute to cool down and then try adding the wax again. And don't beat yourself up if you drop them. They do get slippery when you start covering them in wax. And that's how you make a utility hook. Like I said, I think this is the best beginner blacksmithing project. It has tapering, it has rounding, it has setting shoulders, half-face blow, punching. I mean, you pretty much touch on all of the techniques you need as a blacksmith in this one project. And at the end, you have something that's very functional that everybody can use. You can make these more ornate and use them as a coat rack. You can make them very utilitarian and put them up in a garage. You can make them small for keys, and you can make them big for equipment. A lot of the times when I ship out a project, I'll throw in a couple of hooks with it because everybody can use them. And I'm always making these because they're such a great project. I know you can make leaves and bottle openers and all kinds of other things, but honestly, I'm not a big fan of them, and I couldn't give them away if I wanted to. However, hooks seem to be a great fit, so I hope that you like them. Thanks for coming along on the project, and I hope to see you in the next video when future me apparently is going to be making a hole punch.